It's that time of year again. Money in the Bank is right around the corner. Actually, it's in October 10th, so that's like, up the street and then around the corner. It's going to be here quicker than we think, and today we're going to go over the 7 participants in the men's and women's that I think that WWE is going to put in the ladder match. Not who I want, but who I think they will put in. There is a difference in that phrasing. Plus, I'm going to give a bonus person in the men's ladder match who, honestly, I could see WWE actually not only doing, but winning. And it's kind of scary. That'll be my last pick. And this briefcase right here, it could be yours. You could win the Money in the Bank. You see, at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to give it away, or a title belt. Either or, you're choosing. All you got to do is comment below and subscribe to the channel, and you can win it. I pick randomly, and I'll ship it anywhere in the world. It's not a toy. Actually, this might be a toy. I don't know. I don't know if this is a toy or a replica, because look, I don't know. And if you look inside it, it is a briefcase, but it's not a briefcase at the same time. It's definitely plastic. I don't know. You can win it though. It could be yours. Okay, so my first pick for the men's is kind of cheating. I'm going to pick LA Knight, or Sikoa. Pew, pew, pew. One of the two. I could see Roman Reigns fighting one of them at Money in the Bank. Whoever he fights, the other one will actually enter said Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, if I could book it, what I would do is this. I would have Solo in the ladder match, but LA Knight fighting Roman Reigns. That's the first match of the night, and Roman will beat LA Knight, right? Oh no, LA Knight, he's buried. And then you have Jacob Fatu and the Usos. They take out Solo Sikoa, so he can't get into the ladder match. So then they put LA Knight in the ladder match, and he wins the whole thing. He wins the ladder match. The next night on Raw, he cashes in on Roman, and he has a 2-month title reign. That's how I would book things. Not gonna happen. So all of that said, LA Knight or Solo Sikoa, one of them is in the ladder match, and the other fights Roman. Okay, let's go to the women's ladder match, and I'm thinking Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca is I could see them wanting, they're going to be like, Sol Ruca, we need you to enter this matchup. And she's like, am I going to win? They're like, no, we got something better for you, though. We're going to have you climb up a ladder, and even though the briefcase will be within reach, you're going to choose to do a soul snatcher instead. She's like, why wouldn't I just grab the briefcase? They're like, you're going to choose to do the soul snatcher instead. Great. Okay, bye. Have a good day. Yes, that's what I think they're going to do with Sol Ruca. She's going to enter so she could get her one big move in, and everybody's going to be like, wow, she's so athletic. And so we go to the men's and Javon Evans, and he's going to be kind of in a Sol Ruca position. Someone who has a good connection with the crowd, someone who WWE is not going to push to the top of the ladder. They're going to want them to do spectacular moves so they can get their B-roll, they can get their moments, their social media clicks, but they got no real shot of winning the briefcase. They're putting Javon in this match so he has something to do, so he can do a couple OG cutters from the ring post to the ladder, and for Big Cass to attack him maybe for the 13th week in a row. It's like, oh my God, why is he still attacking him? All right, on the women's side of things, I think Roxanne Perez has a very solid chance of not just entering, but winning the Money in the Bank. Right now, Liv Morgan has the women's world title. She's the best champion on the world, and I could see them then giving Roxanne Perez the briefcase because, well, we also have Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez. She has the Intercontinental title. Even though the Judgment Day is totally booked like a low mid-card faction, they could still brag that they have everything. Liv Morgan is like, look at us. We got the whole women's division on lock. And then we can have a story between Liv and Roxanne Perez about how she needs to go over to SmackDown to win the title. And Liv could be trying to manipulate her and all that stuff. Who knows? Maybe AJ Lee. This could be a path for AJ Lee to get back involved too, where she gets in Roxanne's ears and say, why are you taking orders from Liv Morgan? She's done nothing for you. She only keeps you in Judgment Day so you don't challenge her. her, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of story elements here, and Roxanne Perez was once upon a time the top dog in NXT, so like the briefcase could get her back on that ROAD. For the men, either going to be Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. I say Sami Zayn because he's in kind of a character arc right now where he legit deserves a title match, a rematch, and yet he keeps getting kind of screwed out of it, and he has to keep qualifying for things in order to get said rematch. Therefore, all right, Sami Zayn, we'll give you a shot to get your shot. You just have to win the Money in the Bank. And then he can crash out, said that's not fair, and then you're like, take it or leave it, and then Sami says, man, I'll just take it. Or we have Punk and KO this Friday. If Punk wins, KO has nothing to do, and then neither does CM Punk, unless they do a rematch at Money in the Bank. However, if they don't, maybe we give Sami Zayn to CM Punk at Money in the Bank. That way we can get that rematch out of the way, but it's still not a marquee match, because what's going to sell the pay-per-view is the actual Money in the Bank itself. So you could have Sami versus Punk on the undercard for the title, and then you could just, instead of Sami being in the Money in the Bank, you put Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens said on the post SummerSlam press conference that he's back and he's going to be as dangerous as ever. So I could see him, after such a long hiatus from wrestling, just salivating and getting in these high spot matches. I think he wants to experience all the things he missed while he was gone. So I could see Kevin Owens also entering. Tiffany Stratton's probably going to be in the Money in the Bank. Now, she is a former winner, and I actually don't even think she needs to hold the briefcase. Right now, she already has a story with Chelsea brewing, in that Chelsea Green seems to be benefiting from Tiffany. Tiffany comes out to help her, and that costs her U.S. title. Tiffany's about to win the title, and she gets pushed off, even though it was kind of pseudo-revenge from last year's Money in the Bank when Chelsea Green was pushed off by Tiffany Stratton. But yeah, it seems like all the good luck that Tiffany once had has been placed onto Chelsea Green right now, with the exception of the broken orbital bone, a broken face, and I could just see Tiffany crashing out on her eventually. Now, they don't need the briefcase at all, and it's a natural feud. Triple H likes to complicate things. That feud can start at any moment, but I think Triple H is going to use the briefcase to make it start instead. That way he can kind of keep Tiffany a babyface, which I think is a bad move. I would just flip Tiffany and have her attack Chelsea, but yeah, I think it's going to be the briefcase. I think it could be the briefcase that is what finally dissolves that pairing. Trick Williams has to be in the Money in the Bank. This is a perfect opportunity for him to have something to do, get on the microphone, and go toe-to-toe with a bunch of people where he excels at. Trick Williams, Money in the Bank, it makes so much sense. Here's a guy who's just ready to break out into the main event scene, and believe it or not, the Money in the Bank briefcase once was meant for mid-carders about to become main eventers. It wasn't for main eventers or just to further storylines. It actually had a purpose on elevating people. And Trick Williams, I think he's the odds-on favorite, but like it seems like the briefcase, the original idea of the briefcase was tailor-made for somebody like Trick Williams, to tell you the truth. So like I could really see him not just entering, but winning the entire thing. I think safe money would actually be on Trick. I'll get two out of the way right now. I think Jade Cargill and Charlotte will both be in Money in the Bank. I don't like this idea, but it seems like that feud is not over. And one way to extend it is to just have them going at it in the actual ladder match, which will be pretty much a repeat then, because they were kind of going at it at the ladder match at SummerSlam. But Triple H loves to repeat ideas, and I'm thinking that feud will happen within the grander story of the briefcase. Next up is Gunther. I'm actually putting Gunther in a ladder match. I'm very unsure of this pick. That is why I have an 8th wildcard pick, because, Gunther in a ladder match just doesn't seem right. However, sometimes that leads to a really fun juxtaposition. I remember Big Show and Kane, they entered into these Money in the Bank matches, and they always felt a little off, because you're thinking of people like a Javon Evans, a Penta, people who are a little more on the high-flying side of things, and then, like, here comes Gunther, just this lumbering dinosaur, just, like, knocking people over and stuff, and putting people in sleeper holds, and sometimes that's just fun to do. He has nothing going on, then why not just put him in Money in the Bank? It would create some unique matchups that we probably wouldn't see otherwise, you know, like Trick and Gunther going at it right now for even just a couple minutes. I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't mind that. So yeah, it's just weird enough that I think it could work. With the women, I'm thinking Tiffany Stratton or Becky Lynch. Whichever one doesn't fight Liv Morgan on this PLE, that'll be the one inside Money in the Bank. I think it's going to be Stephanie and Liv at Money in the Bank, so this puts Becky right in the ladder match. I think it's one of the only things Becky has not won, if I'm correct. Plus, we get that moment of a face down between Charlotte and Becky. They have not gone at it for a while. They did have a stare down at the last War Games, and I could see them doing it here as well. Yeah, just a small little confrontation that doesn't last long. Maybe a stare down before they're pushed into each other or something like that. But yes, Becky could totally be in Money in the Bank here. Dominik Mysterio has a good chance of being here because A, it gives Triple A some, like, you know, representation, and B, Dominik Mysterio, they don't really know what to do with the guy, so they usually can always fit him into a multi-man matchup because it kind of almost masks that there's no story here, but Dom gets to showcase his ability. People love Dirty Dom, or they love to hate Dirty Dom, and he's had really nothing going on, to the point that even he's complaining now to people. And I don't blame him. Because, like, when he won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 41, they should have went all in on the guy, and they didn't. But that said, I think he'll get a spot in this ladder match. He won't win it, but he'll get a spot. My final pick for the women's is Lyra Valkyria. So, Lyra Valkyria, she did a heel turn. She had an amazing match with Bayley and pretty much brutalized her to the point that we don't know if she's ever going to return. That was a great start for a new character. And then they took her off TV for 4 weeks, and that sucked. And then she lost when she came back, and that double sucked. And it's like, is Lyra buried? Maybe. Or they're doing that thing where they completely job out the eventual Money in the Bank winner. Because WWE has always had the mindset that you can lose as much as all get out, but once you get that briefcase, it's like, who cares? It's like a reset. And so maybe there's actually hope that Lyra is being positioned to win the Money in the Bank, because ironically, they've done nothing with her. I know, it's weird, but that's WWE logic. Okay, so I'm a moron. I did not look at the Money in the Bank poster before filming this video. On it is Trick Williams Sol Ruca, who I've already picked, but also Penta and IYO SKY. Now, here's the thing. I'm sticking with my choices. You know why? Because if you go back on, like, the last year or two, WWE literally makes posters with people on it who don't appear on the card at all. And not just because of injury or anything like that. They no longer sell their matches. They just sell the event, and they just expect people to pay without knowing who's going to be on event. So they don't plan ahead anymore nowadays. Now, Penta would be a great choice, but the fact that he's about to face Roman Reigns, I think that's the bone that Triple H is going to throw him. Now, if Penta does make Money in the Bank, I'd probably replace Dominik Mysterio. And then for the women's side, IYO SKY would be great because the fans love her, but creative never has anything good for her since they took away Asuka and Kai. So I'm thinking if they put in IYO SKY, I'd probably take out Jade Cargill, because I think they still want that Charlotte Becky Lynch confrontation or face-off. And maybe Jade could cost Charlotte her opportunity during the match itself. But yeah, if we keep IYO, but I don't think IYO's going to be it. Again, WWE just puts anyone on the posters. I could totally see Bron Breakker entering the Money in the Bank, or Bronson Reed. So Bron Breakker is about to face Obafemi at Sunday night's main event. What if Bronson Reed attacks during that matchup? If that happens, I could see Oba wanting to face Bronson Reed at something like a Money in the Bank. And then Bron Breakker can go on into the match. But if it's a double DQ or something stupid like that, and we have Braun versus Oba at Money in the Bank, well then Bronson Reed can go and enter that match himself. I hope this time round we can push both Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker at the same exact time. It doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both and. But yes, Bron Breakker or Bronson Reed, whoever is not facing Obafemi, that's in this match. And the final bonus pick, who I see WWE maybe actually kind of going with, is Danhausen. Straight up, Triple H does not like the Money in the Bank. You can tell with how he books it. He usually burns it real quick. And so by giving Danhausen the Money in the Bank, it almost becomes just part of the Danhausen character, a prop. Who knows? Maybe Danhausen doesn't even cash it in. He doesn't realize it. Wouldn't that would actually be kind of funny if the whole year goes by and then finally Danhausen just doesn't cash it in and everybody's like, why didn't you cash it in, dude? And he's like, I could have cashed it in for a title shot? I didn't know that. That would actually be kind of funny. It expires. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that. But regardless, Danhausen talks about human monies all the time. And now he has a briefcase that literally has, that you can put money in. You know, WWE will try to sell those things with his face on it. There's just a lot of money opportunities that I could see Triple H saying, yeah, let's make Danhausen win this matchup. Now, not gonna lie, there is opportunity to have like weird matchups like Gunther and Danhausen. They should never cross paths in a ring unless it's like something like a Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank. So there are pluses, and they might not know what to do with Danhausen, so kind of like what I said with Dominik Mysterio. Get him in a matchup like this that we can mask that there's no story by just having a gimmick match. By inserting him in a gimmick match, he's able to do things on TV. So honestly, the more I think about it, I could see them doing, I think they could do Danhausen. Everybody, you could have this huge high spot where all 6 contestants are fighting and they fall off the ladder or something. Something happens, they've all done their special moves, and then Danhausen just like he wakes up, kind of like Chelsea Green at SummerSlam, who is considered a comedic character. I know there's a world of difference between the comedy that Chelsea does and Danhausen does, but like it shows that they are willing to put a belt on a comedy character. So Danhausen just like suddenly he appears, he wakes up and he climbs, everybody's down, and he wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. If he wins, like, oh man, I don't even know. If he lets it expire, that's the only way that I would think I would approve of him winning. People are going to hate that idea too. I know, I hate that idea. I'd rather it just go to Trick Williams or Dominik Mysterio or Bron Breakker. But if he let it expire, that would be kind of funny. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are my picks for Money in the Bank 2026, October 10th, one day before my birthday. See ya, bye.